They say old warriors never truly retire. They just learn to hide their weapons better. Frank the Hammer Miller knew this better than most. 65 years old, Bronze Star recipient, 3 tours in the worst hellholes the Navy SEAL teams had ever seen, 240 pounds of weathered muscle and scar tissue wrapped in a flannel shirt and worn jeans. But on this particular Saturday afternoon, sitting outside Murphy's Coffee on Elm Street, Frank wasn't a hammer. He was just a grandfather enjoying the sunshine with his best friend. Sarge, a 10-year-old German shepherd with graying muzzle and steady brown eyes, sat beside him. Combat stress service dog. Retired, just like Frank. They'd found each other at the VA 6 years ago. 2 broken soldiers learning to be whole again. The coffee was good. The weather was perfect. Sarge's tail thumped lazily against the bench. For exactly 4 more seconds, everything was peaceful. The roar came first. A custom Harley, straight pipes screaming, tearing to the quiet suburban afternoon like a chainsaw through silk. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. Coffee cups paused mid-sip. The bike belonged to a man who called himself Buzz. Mid-30s, all leather and attitude, wearing the 3-piece patch of the Iron Jackal's OMC on his back. Prospect rocker across the bottom. Still earning his place. Still trying to prove something. He gunned the engine one more time, unnecessary theatrical, and dropped the bike directly into the handicap parking spot, right in front of Frank's bench, close enough that the heat from the pipes washed over them in waves. Sarge jerked upright, ears pinned back, a low whine escaping his throat. The old dog's training kicked in immediately, assessed retreat, protect. His body pressed against Frank's leg, trembling. Frank's jaw tightened. His hand dropped to Sarge's head, fingers working behind the dog's ears in slow, calming circles, the way he'd done 1,000 times when the nightmares came. "Easy, boy," Frank murmured. "Easy." Buzz swung his leg over the bike, tugging off his helmet with the swagger of a man who'd never truly been tested. He caught Frank watching and smirked. Frank stood slowly, unfolding to his full 6'3". His voice, when it came, was polite, measured, the tone of a man giving someone one chance. "That's a handicap spot, son. You'll need to move that." Buzz's smirk widened into something uglier. "Handicap spot?" He glanced at the blue-painted lines like he'd just noticed them. "Yeah? So what? You a cop, old man?" "No," Frank said quietly. "But I'm asking nicely." "Asking nicely?" Buzz took a step closer, invading Frank's space with the confidence of someone who'd won most of his fights through intimidation alone. "You know what I think? I think you should mind your own damn business before you." He didn't finish the sentence, because Sarge, sensing Frank's tension, shifted position between them, protective, loyal, the way he'd been trained. And Buzz, with the kind of casual cruelty that defines small men trying to feel big, drew his leg back and kicked the dog directly in the ribcage. The sound, boot meeting bone, Sarge's sharp yelp of pain and confusion, cut through the afternoon air like a gunshot. The old German shepherd collapsed to the pavement, whimpering, legs scrambling for purchase. Time stopped. Not for Buzz. He was still smirking, still talking, something about shoulda controlled your mutt, and lucky I don't. But for Frank Miller, time didn't just stop. It crystallized. 23 years of SEAL training doesn't leave your body. It doesn't retire. It just waits. Frank's pupils dilated. His breathing slowed. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. The combat breath that kept him alive in Fallujah, in Kandahar, in places whose names were still classified. His hands, which had been gentle on Sarge's head seconds ago, became something else entirely. Weapons. The transformation was horrifying in its completeness. The grandfather disappeared. The flannel shirt and gray hair became camouflage over something ancient and utterly ruthless. Buzz saw it too late. The smirk died on his lips. "Oh, sure." Frank moved, not with the wild haymaker of a bar fighter, not with rage or emotion or anything resembling anger. He moved with surgical precision. Frank's right hand shot forward, palm strike to Buzz's solar plexus. Perfectly placed, perfectly timed. Enough force to collapse the diaphragm, steal the air, freeze every muscle. Buzz's eyes went wide. His mouth opened in a soundless gasp. Before he could fall, Frank pivoted, his left arm wrapping around Buzz's neck in a textbook rear naked choke. Not to kill, to control. Buzz's hands came up instinctively, clawing at Frank's forearm. Useless. Frank's forearm was a steel bar. 3 seconds of pressure, just enough to cut the blood flow to Buzz's brain, just enough to make the world start to gray out. And then Frank released, letting Buzz drop to his knees, gasping, retching. The entire exchange had taken 4 seconds. Frank reached down, almost casual, and plucked the bike keys from where they'd fallen on the pavement. He held them up so Buzz, still choking on air, could see. Then Frank closed his fist. The sound of metal snapping, clean final, echoed across the coffee shop patio. Frank dropped the broken pieces at Buzz's feet. "You kicked my dog," Frank said quietly. No emotion, just fact. That has consequences. The rumble of motorcycles approached before Frank had taken 2 steps back towards Sarge. 2 more iron jackals, older men with full patches and faces carved from hard miles. They'd been inside the coffee shop. They'd seen everything through the window. They rolled to a stop, engines cutting. The bigger of the 2, gray beard, road name Hammer, patched across his chest, dismounted slowly. His eyes went to Buzz, still on his knees. Then to Frank. Recognition flickered across his weathered face. Not of Frank's face, of his presence, his bearing, the way he stood, relaxed but ready between the bikers and his dog. Chief Miller, the older biker, said, "Not a question, a statement." Frank's eyebrow rose fractionally. "Do I know you?" "Naval Special Warfare. Coronado. 98. I was a PJ working the training pipeline." The biker extended his hand slowly, deliberately. "You pulled my wounded bird out of a hot zone in Mosul, 2004. I never forgot." Frank took the hand, gripped once, released. The biker looked down at Buzz, who was finally catching his breath, terror and humiliation warring on his face. "This idiot kick your dog?" "He did." The biker's expression hardened. He turned to Buzz. "Get up." Buzz struggled to his feet, still clutching his throat. "You kicked a combat veteran service dog," the older biker said, his voice dropping to a dangerous register. "In front of witnesses, while wearing our colors." He looked at his companion, who nodded grimly. "Buzz, you're done. Turn in your prospect patch tonight. You don't have a character for this club." "But..." Buzz's voice was a hoarse rasp. "But nothing. You got off easy. Chief Miller could have put you in the hospital, or the ground." The biker looked back at Frank with genuine respect. "We'll get him out of your sight, Chief, and we'll make sure he covers any vet bills for your dog. You have my word." Frank nodded once. Appreciated. The 2 older bikers helped Buzz toward the remaining motorcycle, supporting his weight as he limped away. The Prospect's custom Harley sat useless in the handicapped spot. Keys broken, owner broken worse. Frank knelt beside Sarge, running gentle hands over the dog's ribs. Sarge whimpered once, but his tail began to wag slowly. No breaks. Bruised, but not broken. "You're all right, boy," Frank murmured, pressing his forehead against the dog's. "You're all right." Around them, the coffee shop patio had erupted in applause. Someone offered to call a vet. Someone else offered to buy Frank's coffee for the next month. Frank waved them off politely, helping Sarge to his feet. The old dog leaned against him, solid and warm and alive. They walked together to Frank's pickup, moving slowly, giving Sarge time to test each step. As Frank opened the passenger door and helped his friend climb in, he caught his reflection in the side mirror. Just a grandfather again. Flannel shirt and gray hair, but his hands, resting on Sarge's head, still remembered. Warriors never truly retire. They just learn to choose their battles. And some battles, the ones that matter, choose you. Because at the end of the day, honor isn't about the size of your bike or the patches on your back. It's about standing up when it counts. It's about protecting those who can't protect themselves. And it's about understanding that actions have consequences. Frank the Hammer Miller understood that better than most. And on that sunny Saturday afternoon, one arrogant biker learned it the hard way